So Monday, August 23rd, we began our harvest here at Mira Winery with our own estate fruit, which I'm very excited about. To give you a little bit of background about this vintage, 2021, it's been a challenging vintage in the fact that it hasn't rained very much. We've received maybe about a third of the annual rainfall that we get, so it's very low amounts of water. Fortunately for us though, in our estate in Yountville, we have plenty of groundwater underneath the vines. And so our need to irrigate the vineyards is just really small, which is a blessing in a year like this. Our vines look extremely healthy, and sure, we did a lot of work early on in the growing season to assure that the soils were gonna have what they needed to supply the vineyards what they needed to grow and be healthy this season. We worked really hard to do that, culminating with the first vintage with the Sauvignon Blanc and the Sauvignon Gris. And Sauvignon Gris is a varietal that not too many people have any experience with. It's a relative of Sauvignon Blanc. And I just kind of had this notion that this strange varietal would do really well in our property because it's related to Sauvignon Blanc, and I know that Sauvignon Blanc in this region of the valley does really well. I felt like Sauvignon Gris could be a pretty good fit to do something different and unique. I've been monitoring the vineyards for several weeks now as the grapes start turning a little bit soft and start producing sugar, more and more sugar on a daily basis, and that's called veraison. And at that point, I'm spending a lot of time in the vineyard tasting the grapes and seeing what kind of flavors the growing season is giving me. When I feel like the flavors are there and the chemistry is there, I make the decision that I'm going to harvest the grapes. That requires careful planning with my vineyard manager, arranging the logistics with him of how we're going to handle the harvest. We decide to do it, and then the crew shows up at the crack of dawn, basically, to start the harvest. My vineyard crew was here at 6 o'clock to get the materials they needed to begin the harvest, and then this crew of 11 people went through the vineyard, harvesting separately the two varietals that we were harvesting, the Sauvignon Blanc and Sauvignon Gris. After that, we brought the fruit to the winery, weighed it out, saw how much tonnage we had, and then immediately went to the press to start the juicing process of these grapes. Whole cluster, not descend, directly into the press. About a 2-hour press cycle for each varietal. So tasting the press, looking at it, determining the chemistry by flavor of what we were doing, and making a separation during the press cycle of the free run, which is arguably the better part of the press, with the heavy press portion of the juice that comes out towards the end of the press cycle. 24 hours in the tank to let it settle, give us a chance to analyze it, give us a chance to taste it, and determine how we're going to ferment this juice and make the best possible wine that we can this year. But we're pleasantly surprised that we produced enough fruit this year to fill our oak egg, our ovum. We kept both of the lots separately, the Sauvignon Blanc and the Sauvignon Gris. The idea is to ferment these separately, and I was enthused that we had enough volume to be able to fill the egg for the most part, at least for fermentation. We inoculated the Sauvignon Gris today to begin the fermentation process. This fermentation is going to take anywhere between 14 and 21 days. It'll be a slow process because we ferment the whites cool. And then after that, we'll wait and see how the flavors develop after fermentation after a couple months. So I expect some really marvelous stuff to share with you down the road with the wine that we produce in this ovum for the first time. And so far, it's looking like a really, really great year again. Just a fantastic year in the Napa Valley.